Hello and welcome in the series of questions and answers with Mateusz Grzesiak. Today's question is very important for all of us, so I decided to answer it and to give you some hints, answering the following. What is the single most important core universal competency that we all must have at work? Irrelevant what you're doing, if you're a salesman or you're a manager or you're an IT programmist, you all must be, and we all must be, responsible. And responsibility is ability to give responses, which apparently is very important for all kinds of professions. What is responsibility and how does it function? We can divide it into 4 different categories. I am responsible is the first one. When I'm responsible, it means that I am asking myself the following questions. How did I do this? How could I improve? What do I feel? What's my opinion on the topic? What's my point of view? How am I to blame if there was something wrong which took place? All this, as you can see, is connected with selfish, in a positive sense of a word, attitude and egocentric point of view. It's connected with me. People who are able to take responsibility on themselves are the ones who have control, are the ones who can construct their own fate. The fates are the ones who are controllers of their own lives and destinies because they simply build it. This is a very important ability to ask yourself these questions, because thanks to it, you're never risking becoming a victim. On the other side, there's some negative aspects to it as well, because maybe you will try to micromanage and take responsibility away from others, or do something that some of us parents unfortunately still do, which is, instead of letting our children try things out, we give them too much advice and we step into the position of I know it's all parent, which means that we are delivering something that psychologists called learned helplessness. Those people, when they are controlled so much, won't be able to function independently later on. So there's negative aspects of I responsibility as well. So let's move to the second area, which is you are responsible. What do you feel? What does it look like if I put myself in your shoes? From your perspective, what would I think? How does she or he feel? Why is she telling this? If I were in this person's position, what would I say and how would I think about this? This position, let's call it empathic or altruistic, lets you understand how other people function, and it's fundamental for communication. This ability also lets you delegate certain tasks and give your employees something to do. Thanks to it, they can grow, thanks to it, they can develop, and thanks to it, if you're a parent and we're talking about your children are able to gather new skills. So there's many positive aspects, but on the other hand, if we take a look at the shadows, we will find some as well. For example, people who put responsibility outside on other people tends to have a victim mentality. It's your fault. It's because of you that I'm unhappy. I cannot find a job because you don't support me, and so on. So every time, each time, when you think about your feelings and when you think about your actions, definitely you need to be able to go into the first mode, which is I responsibility, to be responsible, because thanks to this you will learn. The third option where our responsibility can go is called situation. What are the current trends on the market? What does psychological research say about this? What would sociologists think about this situation? How does the world develop? What does the market look like? What will the weather be like? All the aspects that are still measurable but are not connected with myself or another person go into the situation mode. The positive is that people who have this have perfect orientation when it comes to what's happening on the market and in the outside world. These people will perceive that it's starting to rain, so obviously they need to take an umbrella. Those people will think about how demographically and psychographically the clients are changing, so they can re-adopt their sales or marketing strategies and be better performers when it comes to entrepreneurship. So there is many positive sides. The negative sides is that a salesman who doesn't know how to do certain things can always say, well, it's because the market is bad, or we just entered in economic crisis, or simply the situation is too bad for us and it doesn't work. So again, victim mentality, which unfortunately takes away all the resources because we tend to blame something else. But in this case, it's not the second person, but it's something different, a market, weather, and so on. And finally, the fourth place where responsibility can go is vis major, as in Latin it would be called, which is external force. This external force has different names in different cultures. Call it God, call it Allah, call it destiny, fate, happiness, or lack of luck. Everything that is external, not personal, and cannot be measured, it is called fate. It is called external force. Now, people who have it, they are quite often religious, tends to be modest. They know that they cannot control everything, and humility is a positive feature that is connected with thinking this way. Those people will say, well, simply I didn't know, I couldn't have perceived it, so they will not blame anyone else who in fact cannot be responsible for the situation. Imagine a story goes like this: you're inside a plane and suddenly the turbulence comes, and what will you say? I have chosen the wrong plane. No, you haven't, you couldn't have known that. It's pilot's fault, it's the second person's fault, or you will attack a flight attendant. Doesn't make sense. It's about the situation. You couldn't have perceived it because the storm came. So simply, it's the way it should have been. Certain aspects of our lives we cannot perceive, and we simply let it go and let it be and go with the flow, which obviously means that we accept the reality, which is an important feature of adaptation to ever-changing realistic conditions. On the other hand, obviously, I can always say, you know, we have a meeting and I say, let's meet at 2 p.m. You come at 2 p.m. and I'm late. And you say, why are you late? And I said, because I'm not lucky, or because God wanted something different. So I can easily blame external force because it's not measurable for all the faults and all the mistakes that I carried out in my life. So this is again victim's mentality. Now, cleverness and intelligence of being responsible is not only to be responsible for the first part, which means I am responsible. The cleverness and intelligence in this model means that I am responsible for the things I can be responsible for, which is my feelings, my acts, my behaviors, my thinking, my plans, and all the tasks that I have. I can delegate responsibility and motivate you to be responsible for certain aspects where you are responsible. For instance, incorporating this model into your life, where you're supposed to do the job, where you're supposed to learn, where you're supposed to deliver that or complete the task. I am considering the situation, which means that my attention is also outside. I am focused on how the market operates, how is right now my society functioning, what are the needs of newest generation. So this is also, well, I put my responsibility. And finally, God is responsible as well for the things that I was not able to perceive. So because of all this, let me recapitulates, I am responsible for delivering you the top-notch educational models, which hopefully I'm doing. If you're happy, leave me the comments, and remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Secondly, you're responsible for watching this and implementing it into your life. Thirdly, the situation is responsible because right now e-learning and social media is the way to go. So of course we're connecting ourselves to this trend as well. And fourth, it was supposed to be like this. We were supposed to meet. I was supposed to do this in English. You were supposed to listen to it and see the subtitles in the language of your choice. So altogether, it has created this very important core competency factor for all of us at work, which is responsibility. And I wish you all the best when it comes to dealing with very functional, interdisciplinary models of psychology. Thank you very much. Subscribe the channel, leave us the comment, share this film if you liked it. All the best to all of you, and see you later on in questions and answers. If you have any, please feel free to ask me anything. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.